Hello, my name is Creostix, and welcome to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, or indeed the first game, the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Continuing from where we left off, this thing, The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Ban, Investigation Part 2, apparently. Cool. Let's go. 9th of January, SS Buria First Class, Cabin Passageway. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we'd managed to find some clue as to what that speckled band might be. We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine that we won't be able to for a while longer. We'll never get past that sailor guarding the door. He's clearly glaring at us as if to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a minute. What is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where did he go? Oh yes, he's completely disappeared. When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were securely back on my wrists. So, do we want to try Kazuma's cabin again? Not super able to stick around for it's a cool if I drop some cool... Hey, drop cool news if you feel like it. And also, hello Steel Fox, and welcome, and I hope you've had an excellent day. 9th of January, SS Buria First Class, cabin number 1. It looks like they're still investigating in here. Yes, on that subject, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga is unscathed. What do you mean, unscathed? Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruhodo-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you. Oh, yes. Have an apprenticeship interview for an asset management company Wednesday. Ooh, congrats! Congratulations! I hope it goes good, and congrats one more time. I hope it all turns out excellent. Hell yeah! But I'm sure he was exaggerating. Oh crap! Sorry. Good point. I kind of needed to. There you go. Thank you. I always forget to keep an eye out on this stuff, and I had to sort of, since between games you place the camera in different spots, that's gonna be good. Thank you. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. You never know. Decent wage and benefits is Steel Fox. That's an excellent step in life. Just you know. It's think positive. Hell's yes. Okay, anything I haven't, This is where Kazuma spent his final moments writing his diary. 1:23 AM, I can hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 AM, what looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Right. And I assume that the sound effects and everything are just fine, since it's almost impossible to believe that he's gone. Exactly, Harmo, exactly. Kazuma-sama left us a valuable clue in these words, I'm sure of it. We have to solve this mystery, Naruhodo-san. We will. Alright, so... you, where did you go? Oh, sorry, I just went to the next door cabin to investigate. Why? Who gave you permission for this? Well, Seaman Hosonaga did. That new Japanese, was it? Later I will roll him into a ball and throw him in cold room. Phew, he's gone back to guarding the door. I hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account. He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at La Carnival. good news is that there are a good few doors open for me at the moment. Right now I'm dealing with the chaos of good vibes and loving it. Sounds good. Sounds good. Hell yeah. That could be a very long time from now, Naruhodo-san. Right. So it's clear that these letters originate with the ink that was somehow spilled on the floor, and they spell the Russian word for wardrobe. It does seem to be an unambiguous pointer to you, Naruhodo-san, as you were sleeping in there. But to be truly unambiguous, it should have just spelled out my name, don't you think? Well, either way, one fact remains. It's hard to imagine that Kazuma-sama would have written his last words or word in Russian. Which begs the question of who did write it. Mm-hmm. All the books provided for passengers occupying this cabin neatly arranged on the shelf. They were all over the place when we first looked around, if you remember. Oh yeah, and you tidied them up, didn't you? Yeah. You have to look after the ship's property. Unruly behavior in the cabins leads to damage. But it really wasn't me who knocked them over. Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy. Right. You know, messing with the crime scene is a tried and true... Oh, hi! Ah, you're back. Inspector, what happened to you? Your face is... Can't wait to get better at programming because I know I'm very unnoble about it. Well, there we are. All the time in the world to learn. And a good start to begin with, so... Please don't worry about it. They're just scratches. I see. Those look like very extreme scratches, if you will. Just saying. Made by a bear, maybe. When I told the captain that I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fists and then toss me overboard. Aha. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me overboard. Alright. I got you, Steel Fox. I understood. That's the important bit. So it was nothing, really. It looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to. Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little about the neighboring cabin. This is true. Yes, so I understand. Oh. I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I think his name was something like Herlock Sholmes. I don't think he was a German, though. Ah, that explains it. Shall we compare notes, then? We can tell you what we found out. Yes, let's do it! Anyways, 2 AM, just ate about sleeping the food. Good news, but good luck with the stream. Hey, and good luck with the interview, Steel Fox, and thanks for stopping by. The cabin next door. What? Nikolina Pavlova, she's in the cabin next door? Oh, do you know who she is? Please, what self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know that graceful angel? Mask, come on. Oops, I think I upset him there. Also, what's with the, like, do we get an explanation later on what he has that causes the bloody cough, or what? Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the Kates, at least. Well, I mean, not necessarily, but it sounds unlikely that Pavlova would be a murderer. But the neighboring cabin? Who the hell knows? Oh, how? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? That is an assumption. I mean, she already stole the tiara. Oh, no, wait. She said it was given to her, though. That's fair. But nonetheless, they do, though. Like, that doesn't mean nothing. I'm sorry. No, definitely upset him. Inspector, has your investigation in here proved fruitful? If I'm honest, there's very little more I can go on. Or do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. Disturbed beyond, like, you know, touching the bookshelf because tidying. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying not to take my eyes off the job. Oh, I see. Ah, there is one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what? Yes, do tell us, Inspector, please. Alright, new information. What is this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. Clipboard and some mail. The Buria's medical officer has finished his examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. Oh, Kazuma's post-mortem report. Kazuma-sama. So, what was the cause of death? Poison, surely, or venom, or whatever? Damage to the cervical vertebrae. Uh-huh. Is what's written in the report. His neck was broken? Yeah. Yes, it would seem so. See, now it gets interesting. There were no obvious wounds or other signs of injury, but what if it's a constrictor snake, then? But they don't really do neck usually, do they? Whatever. I mean, they could. Sure they could. There were no obvious wounds or other signs of injury. So at first, I think they were considering poison. Right. Yeah, I thought so too. Although I forget the details of how exactly the constrictor snake thing works, because sometimes it breaks some stuff and sometimes it's asphyxiation, I think, and some other like pressure related like stuff that like bursts blood vessels or whatever. Not without leaving marks everyone else. Yeah. Would be weird. They tend to kill by either suffocating or creating internal bleeding through... Yes, thank you, Harmo. I was wondering about that. Like, my mind said that, like, breaking neck wouldn't be the usual way. Thank you. Yeah, there we go. Crushing force internal bleeding and either suffocation. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Hell yeah. But it might not be a snake. It was just, like, planted in our heads because of the weird intro thing, right? But it turns out they found no trace of poison in his system at all. Well, what weapon was used then? Nothing has been found as yet, but the fact that there are no signs of a wound suggests it may have been a blunt object, something that wouldn't leave a mark. Like, not even a bruise kind of a mark? Like, how much of a mark are we talking about here? Because, Oh, I see. All the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact with the neck could induce death. That's true. It is a possibility, and no obvious wound would be left. Yeah, but surely a bruise would be left, like... I think even a fatal blow would still cause a bruising like usual, yes? Poor Kazuma. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. Whoa! After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to you leaving this cabin in the first place, would I? That sounds fair. Ah. Post-mortem report. A report from the SS Buria's medical officer giving the cause of death as a cervical spine injury. There were no traces of external injury or poison. Right. The Great Detective. Oh, Mr. Sholmes was here, was he? Yes, he seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept about on the floor, investigating. Oh, and for the YouTube audience, now that I'm over the shock of the character assassination of Sherlock Holmes, I'm now willing to start calling him by the actual written name. I have mellowed out on it a little tiny bit. Maybe. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored. Did he say anything at all? Actually, now you mention it, yes. Just one thing, but he practically shouted it. "It's shoe polish!" was all he said. Are you sure it's not shoe Belarusian or shoe Slovakian or shoe Czech or shoe Danish? It's definitely shoe polish. I wonder what he meant. It was when he was over there by the piece of broken glass, do you see? Ah, perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored mark, do you think? Ah, yes, that must be it. But how could Mr. Sholmes know that it's shoe polish? That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea. What is it, Susato-san? Well, Kazuma-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue. Dark tan? A sort of dark brownish red then? Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him. Oh, does this mean that this mark was made by the polish on Kazuma's shoes as they scuff on the floor? A piece of a small glass object and what looks like a scuff mark made by Kazuma's shoes were found by the victim's body. Right. That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. My fellow crewmen's eyes are boring into me... are boring into the back of my head. Words are hard. Yes, that might be for the best. Thank you. During these times, all the coughing, like I would never have imagined that I would think of coughing like it would like, or I would pick up coughing as much as I would now that the world has entered into the pandemic era. But so it is. I was always like, of course, trying to like avoid that stuff. Like I think more than most people do, but still. Poor Inspector, you look exhausted. Oh, no. Well, I feel terrible that I failed to protect Asogi-san. He was my responsibility. I understand. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You were his friends. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke this morning. Do you mean literally heavy head as in like a chemical whatever, or like just a I'm not familiar with the term heavy head as a mood, but a heavy head? That's interesting. My head's still throbbing too. Yeah. Like a symptom, yes. Okay. What's this? This is... yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think. What do you mean, contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that called about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really? That sounds almost magical. A lot of, like, dots in this one. Shall we give it a little try? No! No! In the interest of cultural research, obviously. Okay, let's... Fine. I I don't want to attract attention. I'm trying to investigate, you know? It doesn't sound sensible to me. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. Ugh. Oh, speaking of, I checked a couple of reviews for this pair of games. They are mostly positive, you know, probably because it's a good thing too that mostly these games are probably reviewed by people who are kind of into Ace Attorney, so they know what to expect and like they can sort of put the stuff into context, but still have had their gripes. I think the Metacritic was like in the just below 80 the last time I checked or something, which is still fine. One thing, the lowly Japanese people point came to mind. I hear that this one has throughout it a lot of historically accurate racism, right, and bigotry. So that just, you know, get how like the other than Japanese have prejudices toward the Japanese in this game. It's historically accurate, I'm sure, and that's in the game. It's debatable if it really needs it in this silly vibes game, but it's there, just so you know. It's gonna come up more. Just, you know, heads up. No, I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy. That's all. Okie dokie. So this ventilator joins to Miss Pavlova's cabin. Yes, that's right. And just a few minutes before he died, Kazuma saw something emerging from it. The speckled band, as he described it. If only Miss Pavlova had been able to shed some light on it, but she seemed as baffled as we are. Yes, I wonder if she's telling us everything, though. At least we didn't see what the pet was, right? That's number one. But I'm honestly, considering that we got the weird intro about the snake, I kind of think and hope it's a misdirection, that it's not a snake. I hope that's the case, because I'm hoping that they didn't just, you know, give a big part of the solution from the get-go. Usually in case 2, the Ace Attorney games don't give a big part of the info in the get-go. So first case, yeah. Second, I can't think of any game that does. I think. Probably. So yeah. And I've played all of the Western games. The only one I don't have and haven't played is Edgeworth 2, because it's only Japanese. I'm fingers crossed one day PC version. Come on, Capcom, since now these are also in the West. So, and like obviously I haven't played the second one of these, but I own it that's how I worded it, I think. Anyway, but I have played every other one. You know, all the mainline ones. Layton versus Ace Attorney and the Miles Edgeworth Investigations 1. I'm not sure. I know most people aboard would say the same about me, but there was something about that woman that didn't sit right with me. Okay. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Buria. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. So by bringing her pet on board, Miss Pavlova has broken the rules. Question, isn't it kind of a good idea to have a cat though, for example? Like imagine the ship would have rats or mice, and the cat would be a good thing for catching those, yes? Isn't that like historically a good thing, or am I misunderstanding this? Since like they had a mouse trap outside the door, so like, you know. I guess it would be dangerous for the cat as well, though, but, you know, still. Like, I don't know. She called it her friend, didn't she? Yes, although we don't know what form this friend takes as yet. I'm almost certain that whatever it is, it's inside the traveling case in her cabin. I think you're right. To my knowledge, the ship's cats have been a thing in some towns and places. Yeah, I have this mental memory spot that says so, but who knows? My mind palace tells me of this stuff. Yeah, a friend. There's more to this than it seems, I think. Right. Okay. Ba. Victim male, Far Eastern. Time of death sometime between 1 a.m. and a little past 2 a.m. Cause of death damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. At least there's that. The victim's neck was almost certainly broken as a result of a strong blow to the area. No obvious external injuries or traces of poison. Alright. Mark on floor. Nothing I can, like, interact with, okay? Can I move somewhere now? Pavlova's cabin is out, but this... Okay. 9th of January, SS Buria, first class cabin passageway. Ah! Look, Naruhodo-san! Seaman Stroganoff is gone. Strong enough? What? The burly Russian sailor who's always crossing his arms and glaring at it. How did... Okay, come on. Now Naruhodo didn't, like, just... Lights up. Like, just, wake up, man. Names. All these Russian names are impossible to remember. No, I remembered! It was... Come on. Yeah? Tra-la-la. Did you hear that? It sounded like someone singing. Tra-la-lila-la... Tra-la-la-lira-lira-lay, I did it the great detective way. Ah! Hello, Sholmes. This caroling, I know that lark-like voice. Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us. Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Carpe diem, let's go. Let's get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin while we can and investigate. Definitely, before that stringy knot crewman comes back. It's Stroganoff, come on. Not stringy knot. Alright. Not that difficult to... Alright. There we go. 9th of January, SS Boria, first class cabin number 2. Miss Pavlova isn't back yet. Susato-san. Oh, where's she gone? Hey, what are you doing? Those are her private things. There's not a moment to waste, Naruhodo-san. We must investigate as quickly as we can. I suppose you're right, for Kazuma's sake. For a person who feels like, you know, judo throwing me for trying to read Kazuma's diary because it's private, that's a bit of a turn, but I'm not completely sure. Let's investigate. Not just for Kazuma-sama. What do you mean? It can't be long now until we arrive at port in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there. Really? We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san, by ourselves if we have to. Ooh. Yes, we will. Hell yeah. A character turn. She seems to trust us now. Awesome. Good. Great. Hell yeah. Alrighty. All the books have toppled over together. Look. Every single one. Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though. It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door, in Kazuma's cabin. Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase? I don't know. Would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company? Alright then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage. Not everything bad that happens on this ship is because of me, you know. Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again in here too. I don't like seeing things in disarray. That's not a good idea. She'll know that something's different. Come on. Alright. Let's hope she's thankful and understands. Ah yes, they're displayed in this cabin too. Look, the SS Buria's rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. I suppose Miss Pavlova realized that she needed to keep the contents of her case a secret after she read this. Her special friend, I mean. Wonder where her friend has disappeared to now. It's probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine. But I just hope Seaman Stroganoff doesn't find it and throw it overboard. Oh, yes, so do I. Oh my, Miss Pavlova's case is open. It's completely empty inside, but according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there. Yes, a friend that she had to keep secret. Because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the SS Borea. Well, I wonder what kind of animal she had in there. And more to the point, where is it now? There's just a few books on the desk, nothing else, by the looks of it. Well, Miss Pavlova's only ran away from the ballet last night. She's hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all. That's true. I wonder what kind of books she likes to read. Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading books written in Russian. Thanks. I think I probably already knew that. It's rude to ask too much of people, Naruhodo-san. Kindly remember that. Right. Naruhodo-san, are you there? Sorry? I'm right here, yes? Why? Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home. Believe me, I don't have some strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see, you know? Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes. I was rather hoping we might find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding in there, but no such luck. Right. This cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch that our cabin door has. If the bolt's drawn across, there's no way anybody can enter the cabin from outside without breaking the door like it was done here. I'm still wondering how they broke the door. That looks pretty heavy duty, you know? Yes, it's not a particularly heavy... It looks heavy duty to me! It's like this thick iron! Come on, Jesus. But still, it wouldn't slide across of its own accord, would it? No, and the door is made of metal, so there's no chance of trickery using magnets to unbolt it from the outside. And it seals up perfectly too, to stop any seawater coming in. So you couldn't use the method you told me of passing a thread through a crack around the closed door either. I seem to know a lot of tricks of opening doors. I'm starting to see why they suspect me. So this ventilator connects to the Kazuma's cabin next door. Yes, although what a fool a shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator into another room. Ah, maybe it's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm. Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning. That is a possibility. Anyway, last night Kazuma wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out of this ventilator. I am kind of puzzled that they keep calling it a ventilator instead of a ventilation shaft, but alright. Like, I don't know. Ventilator sounds weird for that sort of a thing. I suppose every cabin has a waste paper basket. Shall we have a little look and see what's been thrown away? Naruhodo-san, it's poor etiquette to go sifting through someone's rubbish, you know? Ah, those eyes. She's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now. Again, investigating everything, you said so yourself. Like, these weird ideas of etiquette are making you a less good investigator. Like, it's not helping. However, these are special circumstances, I think. There we go. Exactly, we have no choice. There's hardly anything in here at all. Oh, well, that's a little disappointing. Alright. I wonder what this little saucer is doing on the floor. Yes, it doesn't look like it's been dropped. More like it was put there deliberately. Ah, do you think there could be a leak in the roof just above here? No, it's... Come on. It's whatever food or whatever the pet eats. What? A leak? Or water or something, you know. Is the ship quite safe? I'm sure that even if there's a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink. No, you're right. Of course you're right. She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? Okay. It would seem the teapot is empty. So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are a very thirsty people. Right. Or because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet? I mean, it could be either. It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd lay 1,000 to 1 on it. You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Naruhodo-san? Okay, There's one of these next to the bed in Kazuma's cabin too. Yes, it's a bell cord. I can't resist. She barely hesitated there, and she gave it a good tug too. No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come. We don't want them to, we're trying to investigate in secret. Okay, anything else? I kind of feel like I've done a pretty thorough job here. I don't think we got anything new into the court record, right? But I think that's everything, yeah? I'm kind of curious about those two little pieces of whatever they are, but apparently, you know, not a thing. Okay. I hope that's enough. Nothing here. What about the other cabin? Nope. Okay. What now? Is there something I've missed in the passageway, or... Probably. Well, first off, let's, Aha! Hi. Oh, it's Mr. Sholmes, look! Wow, you never know where he's going to turn up next, do you? He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself. Tra-la-la-lira-lira-lay, I did it the great detective way. Right. He's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us? Or he's simply in extreme high spirits? That's also... yes, sure. Yes, there were times I'm sure you knew when the yard bit off more than it could chew. Chew, chew, chew. Yes. And through it all, where there was doubt, it's lucky Herlock was about. Aha. Well. Excuse me. I solved it all and I stood tall. I did it the great detective way. Mr. Sholmes! Ah! What is it, you want to fight, hmm? Sure. I could punch you for character assassination, you know? Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing, and I was just about to reach the climactic finish. Sorry, I thought you were going to stop, but I figured now is a good time as any. I very nearly dropped you off to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. Alright, alright. I got the picture. How do you put those fists away, huh? Mr. Sholmes. You seem to be examining something before we interrupted you. Ah, yes. That. I was immersed in study of the ship's log, as penned by the stockily built crewman who's usually on guard here. Oh yes, the ship's log. And did you find out anything useful from it? Well, after 2 AM this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means that there was nothing to report. Nothing of note happened, so... Ah ha 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 ha. You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Ah ha ha ha. Sorry? Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Observe the other pages, and it all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman oft stands sentry in this first-class passageway, and he has an almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Oh, he writes that in every 30 minutes? Nothing to report. Precisely. Put simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when there is just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Do you mean... Yes, there were circumstances afoot last night which led to the seaman being absent from his post. What kind of circumstances? What happened? That remains a mystery for now, but we can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. A record kept by the crew assigned to the first class cabin area. There are virtually no entries from 2 a.m. until early this morning. Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective. Ah, you're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Shomes, brilliance. Ah ha 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 ha. Ooh, ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason, nothing more. Okie dokie. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. So everyone's been sleeping gassed or what? He's still singing to himself. I can hear it as he wanders off down the passageway. Is something wrong, Sato-san? You seem lost in thought. It's just... well, I feel the same. Sorry? Ever since I woke this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing. Oh, you too? I think it's a clue, yes. That door leads to the second class area. It's locked. I can't open it. No, well, that stands to reason. No one wants to let the murderer escape. Gosh, she gave me a very stern look when she said that. Alright. Ah! Been there already. Miss Pavlova's cabin. Could be her chance. What? The burly sailor doesn't appear to be around at the moment. We could investigate every last inch of that cabin. Not sure if we could go that far, but we could certainly do with looking around more. I'm sure we could learn something. Well, maybe Sholmes has now you know, placed himself in there, and we can continue the deductioning or something, because I gotta do something, right? Ding-a-ling-a-ling! Ah, what's that? It's the Silence Hill alarm! It's the other world's coming! Look out for Pyramid Head! Shut down the engines immediately. Vessels sighted a quarter-mile 4. Full stop. Hard starboard. All hands brace for impact. What the? I think we're about to crash into another ship. What? I can't stand. Susato-san, hold on to me. Ah! Susato-san, are you alright? Are you injured at all? I think I'm fine, thank you, Naruhodo-san. Mm-hmm. It looks like we avoided a collision. I think... yes, the ship has come to a stop. Oh my goodness, what about you, Naruhodo-san? Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Hello, is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like Stroganoff? Or Hosonaga. Okay, Inspector Hosonaga. Is that you in there, Naruhodo-san? Unbolt the door, quickly. What? The bolt? Yeah, it slides when... ha ha ha. Yes. Look at that. The door's bolted. Did you do that, Naruhodo-san? No, I didn't touch it. Sorry, I think I missed the names. Well, that's strange. How did... and look at all the books. They're just like they were before again. Naruhodo-san, aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in? I'd better tidy this place up first. Ah, are you sure? Our violent emergency stop had solved one mystery, at least, in a very vivid way. But I knew that what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying up the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. Ooh! It was a shorter investigation scene. Save progress, absolutely. Valkyrie, hi, one sleepy nurse. Oh, cool. I hope your day at the nurse place was good or will be good or whichever. But hi, welcome. I hope you've had an excellent day besides the sleepiness, and glad to have you. I'll just stop the recording here for YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please do smash that like button. It would super duper actually help. I promise. I know everyone says that, but I promise it would. It really would. And thank you for watching, and I hopefully see you again in the next part of this case.